High above the world, the real moon shone, big and bright and round, painting the silent forests and sleeping mountains with a gentle silver light. And far below, in a very special place known as the Lake of Questions, that same silver light fell upon the water, creating a perfect, shimmering reflection. This was our protagonist, the moon's reflection, a circle of soft, glowing light resting peacefully on the dark, still water. For a long time, the reflection was content. It thought it was the moon itself, believing it was the source of all that gentle light. It felt proud and important, believing it lit up the entire lake all by itself. But then, one night, a slow, sad thought drifted into its quiet mind, a thought as soft as a sigh. It looked up and saw the real moon, so high and magnificent and real, and it understood. It was not the source of the light, it was just a copy, a borrowed picture, a nothing. A deep feeling of sadness washed over the reflection. It felt small and unimportant. If it wasn't the real moon, then what was it? Did it have any value at all? It felt so alone. As these sad thoughts swirled in its mind, a terrible thing began to happen. The edges of the reflection started to tremble. Its beautiful, smooth light began to break apart into little, shimmering pieces, like a puzzle coming undone. It was starting to fade because a reflection that does not believe it has a purpose can simply disappear. The Lake of Questions, which was usually as smooth as glass, gave a gentle, worried ripple. The lake itself was connected to the reflection, you see. The lake knew that if the reflection faded away completely, its own water would become dull and dark, and the magic of the Lake of Questions would be lost forever. The lake needed its reflection to be strong. The reflection whimpered, feeling a cold emptiness where its light used to be. It felt so very worthless. But the Lake of Questions was a wise and kind place. It could not speak with words, but it could speak with feelings. It sent a warm, calming feeling through the water. A feeling that said, "Do not be afraid. Your journey to find your value begins now. Listen, and you will understand." Suddenly, the reflection noticed something it had never paid attention to before. At the very edge of the water, where the pebbles met the lake, a small, smooth stone slipped from the bank and fell into the water with a soft, gentle sound. Plink. It was a tiny, simple sound, but in the utter silence of the night, it was like a bell. And where the stone had broken the water's surface, a little ring appeared, a perfect circle that started to grow and grow, moving outward across the lake. The ring moved right through the center of the trembling moon reflection, and something magical happened. As the ring passed through it, the reflection felt a tiny, tiny vibration, a little shiver of connection. For that one moment, it wasn't just a picture. It was a part of the water, a part of the movement, a part of the story of the falling stone. The ring moved on, and the reflection's light glowed just a little bit steadier. Its fading had paused. It had felt something. It had been a part of something. But was that enough to have value? The reflection was still unsure. "Can you make a little plink sound?" "Very good. You just made a little ring of sound, just like the stone made a ring in the water." The lake, sensing the reflection's small moment of wonder, knew it was time for the first true challenge. From the deep, dark reeds at the northern shore of the lake, a sound began to grow. It was a low, deep, echoing sound. Rumble, 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 brum. It was the sound of a big, friendly bullfrog waking up from a long nap. The bullfrog was so big that when he moved, the water shook. He began to swim, his long, powerful legs pushing him through the water. And with every kick, he made a sound. Rumble, swish. Rumble, swish. Rumble, swish. His swimming created waves, little choppy waves that rolled across the lake directly toward the moon reflection. The reflection saw them coming and trembled again, afraid these waves would shatter it into 1,000 pieces. The first wave reached it. Instead of breaking it, the wave lifted the reflection. It lifted the light up and then down in a gentle, rocking motion. Swish, swoosh. The reflection felt the powerful energy of the frog's movement. It felt the water holding it, carrying it, dancing with it. The second wave came, and then the third. Each one made the reflection dance and bob on the surface. It wasn't being destroyed, it was being played with. The water wasn't just something it sat on top of, it was its partner. The reflection realized it was giving the frog's waves a beautiful silvery light to dance with. The waves would have been just dark shapes in the night without the reflection to illuminate their graceful curl and fall. The reflection's light gave the waves their beauty, and the waves gave the reflection a reason to move and shine. The bullfrog gave one last mighty rumble-brump and settled back into the reeds, and the water grew calm again. The reflection now glowed with a calm, steady light. It had faced the challenge of the waves and had not broken. It had danced. It had discovered that its light could make the movements of others more beautiful. This was a new feeling, a feeling of usefulness. But was helping waves look beautiful an important enough job for a reflection? The journey was not over. The lake sent another soft, encouraging ripple. The reflection was learning, but it needed to learn more. Now the reflection noticed a new friend. Drifting gently on the breeze, a single fluffy dandelion seed, a little wishmaker, floated down from the sky. It twirled and spun, a tiny dancer in the night air. It landed right in the middle of the moon reflection with the softest, quietest, most delicate touch imaginable. Thwip. It was so light it didn't even make a ring. It just rested there, a tiny fuzzy star sitting on a bigger glowing moon. The reflection could feel the incredible lightness of the seed, a tiny speck of life. And the seed, which had been floating in darkness, was now bathed in a soft, beautiful light. The reflection's light was showing this tiny traveler a safe place to rest. The reflection was providing a landing spot, a tiny stage for this little seed's important journey. The reflection felt a warm glow of kindness. It was helping. But then, a gentle night breeze picked up. Whoosh! It was a soft breeze, but it was enough for the little dandelion seed. The seed clung on for a moment, and then was lifted back into the air, continuing its adventure across the lake to find a place to grow. The reflection felt a little sad to see its tiny friend go. It had liked feeling useful. It had liked providing light for the little seed. It was the second challenge, a challenge of kindness. And it had passed. It had learned its light could be a safe harbor, but now it was alone again. Was its value only in helping others for a short time? Did it have any value just for being itself? The core of its sadness was still there. The lake felt the reflection's lingering doubt. The time for the final and greatest challenge had come. The wise lake knew that to truly understand its own worth, the reflection had to see itself not as a copy, but as a creator. A mist began to rise from the warmer parts of the lake, a thin, wispy fog that curled over the water like ghostly ribbons. It was a sleepy mist, a dreamy mist. It drifted slowly, silently, across the surface of the lake of questions. The mist began to pass right over the moon reflection. This was the biggest challenge yet. The mist was thick. Would it cover the reflection? Would it blot out the light completely? The reflection held its light as steady as it could, waiting. But the mist did not cover the light. Instead, something utterly magical happened. The reflection's light shone through the mist. The sleepy, wispy mist began to glow with a beautiful, mysterious silver radiance. The light transformed the ordinary mist into a shining, ethereal cloud that floated over the lake, looking like something from a beautiful dream. The reflection was doing more than just being light. It was transforming the world around it. It was making magic. It was adding wonder to the night. The mist, which was just plain white before, was now a glowing silvery spectacle because of the light it shared with the reflection. The reflection shimmered with a dawning understanding. It was not just taking light from the moon, it was giving light to the mist. It was in a beautiful, magical partnership with everything in the lake. It gave the waves beauty, it gave the seed safety, and it gave the mist magic. And in return, the waves gave it movement, the seed gave it purpose, and the mist gave it a canvas to paint with light. The reflection understood now. Its value wasn't in being the original moon. Its value was in being exactly what it was, a reflection. It was the one who could touch the water, dance with the waves, comfort the seed, and light up the mist. The real moon high in the sky could never do that. The moon was too far away. The reflection had a job that only it could do. This was the logical twist, the beautiful reversal. It wasn't a worthless copy. It was a unique and vital part of the lake's nighttime world, with a purpose all its own. With this wonderful, warm, happy thought filling it up from edge to edge, the moon reflections stopped trembling. The broken pieces of light snapped back together. Its glow became brighter and steadier and more brilliant than it had ever been before. It wasn't just reflecting light anymore. It was shining with the light of its own understanding, its own self-worth. It felt whole. It felt complete. It felt valuable. The Lake of Questions felt this change immediately. The water, which had been growing slowly darker, suddenly sparkled with 1 billion points of light, as if every tiny ripple was now a diamond. The entire lake seemed to sigh with happiness. Its magic not only saved, but made stronger than ever. The lake was happy because its reflection was finally happy. The reflection, now glowing with confidence and joy, looked up at the real moon. It no longer felt sad or jealous. It felt connected. It was a partner. The moon gave it light, and it gave the moon's light a beautiful home on the water. A home where it could play and dance and create magic. They were a team, each important in their own way. The night went on. The bullfrog rumbled softly in his sleep. More wishmaker seeds floated by, each one pausing for a moment on the glowing water before continuing their journey. The mist glowed and drifted. The reflection held its light steady and proud, knowing its true worth. It had learned the most important lesson of all. You don't have to be the original to be important. You don't have to be the source of something to have value. Your worth comes from the joy you bring, the help you offer, the magic you create, and the unique role that only you can play in the world. Even a reflection has immense value, and so do you. And as the first hints of pink and orange began to paint the edge of the sky, the moon's reflections started to gently fade, not from sadness, but from the natural end of the night. It faded with a feeling of peace and happiness, knowing that when night fell again, it would return to its important work on the Lake of Questions. What shall we learn about in our next adventure? Will we learn about the bravery of a tiny seed growing into a tall flower? Or perhaps we will learn about the sounds of the forest and how they make a symphony. Join us next time to find out. And remember, you are valuable, you are important, and you have your own special light to share with the world. Good night. Moral core: your value is not defined by being original or the source of something, but by the unique joy, help, and magic you bring to the world around you.